Realistically, when do you think man could land on Mars? How far off is that?
Oh boy. Yeah, I think there's.
Welcome, MythFits.
Hey there, MythFits. We're back again. It's Kari Byron.
And Tori Belleci. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode. Kari, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
So I spent the weekend at the STEM Zone conference in Santa Clara. I was on a panel that was Women in STEM, and on stage we had like actual scientists. We had a Tracy Fanara, who was actually on the Mythbusters search, but she's more importantly, she used to work for NOAA. She does like a bunch of stuff about water. And then there was an astronaut on stage. Her name's Sirisha Bandala. And like this lady's been on the cover of Vogue and in space. And she was so cool. I met her through our guest today, actually. So our guest today is Rob Meyerson. He helped build Blue Origin. He was the president of Blue Origin and now has a moon harvesting company, which I find ultimately so cool. He ran this thing called the Ascend Conference, which was a commercial space conference where I got to meet all of these amazing people. I interviewed Sirisha and Jared Isaacman, who's the current NASA administrator, on stage, and just like got to meet everybody in this industry. And now Rob has this startup for mining the moon. I always thought it was so cool, the industries that came out of space travel and space exploration in the first place, like MRI and CT scans, like fire resistant material we use for firemen and race car drivers. Like there's a million industries that were propped up by us going to the moon. And now we're coming up with moon mining.
What's next?
I find space exploration just endlessly interesting. We haven't gone to the moon for the last 50 years, and all of a sudden, it's like we're really excited about space again. And I really think that because commercial space kind of took off, all of a sudden we got to see innovations happening in such brilliant ways. So we've got a clip of the Blue Shepard and the way that it's landing, and the fact that we can do this now, I think, is just astounding. So the way this is landing is making it reusable.
Wow, I love watching this landing because it
really is commercial space that is driving all of the innovation these days. And the fact that a couple billionaires decided we want to go to space is bringing us back to the moon. I think it's awesome. And our guest today, Rob Meyerson, is one of the people who's been in commercial space since before it was a race again. Like he's got insights into the entire evolution of us going back into space and really, really forging a future where we might live on the moon someday, where we're going to construct on the moon. I think that's crazy.
And beyond Mars. So if you guys are excited about space travel and getting to the moon and getting to Mars, well, buckle up. We're about to blast off.
All right, MythFits, get ready because we have Rob Meyerson beaming straight in from Interlune. What's up, Rob?
I'm just great, Kari and Tori. I'm so happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you on the show. Kari has told me a lot about you and kind of what you're working on, and we got a lot of questions for you. So I hope you're ready.
Deep breath. Here we go.
So, Rob, I actually just spent the weekend with Sirisha Bandala that I met through you at the Ascend Conference. She says hello, by the way.
Fantastic. Yeah, I saw her recently at the space prom. Got her dinner in D.C., so.
The space prom. I never have been invited to the space prom, but I remember seeing all these astronauts all dressed up and like to the nines. I'm like, what is going on? Space prom.
I'm gonna make a note here. Invite Kari to space prom.
How did you end up at Blue Origin?
So I had worked at NASA for 10 years. My wife is from the Seattle area, so we decided we were going to move, and I started looking at commercial opportunities. I found a company called Kistler Aerospace. They were building a reusable rocket, all privately funded. It was a lot of former NASA people. I worked there for 6 years. And then I sort of heard through the grapevine about this secret company that this unnamed person was starting. And I got my resume into the right hands and got a job there and met Jeff on April 17th.
Jeff Bezos, if you guys were wondering.
That secret person.
Come on, drop
That
some
secret
names.
person, Jeff Bezos.
Drop some
yeah.
names.
But I met Jeff at Amazon, and he interviewed me for a position as an individual contributor at Blue. It wasn't, I want you to come in and run Blue, and I got the job, and I think I proved myself over the coming months and years. I stayed there for 15 years. I was the president of Blue Origin from 2003 to 2017, and got to grow the company from 10-person think tank where we, built crazy machines to try to figure out how to get to space in different ways. And then we built New Shepard, and we built rocket engines, and built out launch sites. And I had no experience doing those kinds of things before, but I learned a lot along the way, and it was a real honor and a pleasure. So,
Rob, what do you think of Katy Perry's flight to outer orbit?
You're going to start there.
Was that an advancement in science or something else? What are your thoughts on that?
It wasn't an advancement in science, but I think it was an advancement in inspiration. I think 6 women going to space kind of is a recognition that the world's a little different. That a lot of people can go, and you can take 6 women. You can take the oldest man, the oldest women, the youngest man, the first Persian woman, the first Mexican woman. New Shepard had that impact on our view of what an astronaut is and what going to space is. And I think that's a huge success. You can, I don't spend a lot of time on forums and, things like that. There's a lot of, it's not a science advancement. It's more about like, how do we inspire the next generation? And I think it was hugely successful having that mission go to space. It's I'm sure we won't know the outcome for decades, but there's probably some 6-year-old that saw that, and 20 years from now they're going to be in a PhD physics program or engineering program
because of that inspiration.
Well,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, we sent, when we first sent people to the moon, we sent test pilots, and we didn't send scientists. Like when we first went up there, and I love the idea that we're sending artists and poets and musicians now, because they have like a special language that can kind of communicate that to us, like what the experience was. Because I'm imagining the first time the test pilots saw Earth, that it looks different than we thought it did. It doesn't look like a globe. It looks like this beautiful glowing ball that, without that photograph, I don't think that they would have been able to express kind of the beauty of that, the way that, even William Shatner came back, and the way he was explaining it was sort of this beautiful moment. And I got to say, I feel like Jeff kind of cut him off and was like, yeah, rocket ship. Like Shatner was having this moment that was just like he practically had tears, and Jeff's like, yeah.
But then they corrected. They did correct, and I get goosebumps when I think about it. Like this guy that we watched on TV growing up,
Captain
is
Kirk.
actually for the first time getting to experience weightlessness and seeing the Earth from space. That's cool. It's like, okay, let's take the humble hat off and just say, like, I had a part in doing that. That's really, really cool. And so it's, following up on your question, Tori, it's about like, these are our influencers, there's influencers out there, and they've got all these channels. What do we want them to influence? We had a shot with New Shepard with Katy Perry flying to influence a whole generation, and I think and I hope that they did that.
Tori, let's talk tushy. Mother's Day is coming up, and Mom has dealt with your crap while ignoring her own for her entire life. Do better than grocery store flowers this Mother's Day and get her something for her tushy. Tushy Bidet transforms your bathroom wellness for life. Gut to butt to bowl.
99% of people who wash with Tushy's warm water bidet feel cleaner and fresher. Wouldn't you agree, Kari?
Absolutely. Tushy e-bidets modernize your routine. Heated seat, adjustable water temperature, and powerful yet gentle dryer.
You'll never want to leave the toilet. Hey, Kari, how easy is it to install?
Actually, I think it took about 10 minutes. I mean, it's really easy. Literally anybody could do it.
And no more itchy butt?
Butt was never itchy, but it's also never been cleaner. It like shines, I'm told.
Oh.
Stop guessing you're clean. Start feeling it. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the code MythFits at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code MythFits. We want to see your butt clean.
I mean, we don't want to see it. We want to.
No,
know
we don't
it's
actually want to
clean.
see it. Don't send us
We
pictures
want
of
to
it.
know it's clean. I don't really need to see.
We're concerned for your. Concerned for your butt health.
Do not email us pictures of your clean.
Do not
Hulu.
send us pictures.
How close are we to putting men on moon now?
Well, a lot closer than we were last year. And every step forward, Artemis 2 was a huge step forward. And so sending 4 astronauts around the moon to go see and observe things that we've never observed before from that vantage point. A lot of people say, well, we've already been to the moon. I said, no, we have not been to the moon. The Apollo program did, but there's a whole new industrial base that's been created around the Artemis program. And for your listeners that aren't familiar, Artemis was created during the first Trump administration. It was created by Jim Bridenstine, the NASA administrator at the time. Mike Gold, who's an industry executive, they had a big part in creating this program and bringing along international partners. Artemis, the goal is to go back to the moon and onto Mars, develop the systems and capabilities. And what Artemis is doing is rebuilding that industrial base around going to the moon. So the companies that took us to the moon in the 60s have been rebranded or merged, or they just don't exist anymore. And now there's new ones, like Interlune, the company that I founded. And we have an opportunity here to go do a whole bunch of things. So you asked, how close are we? Artemis 2 was about sending 4 astronauts around the moon, but not landing. Artemis 3 is about docking the spacecraft that will take astronauts to the moon in low Earth orbit in a year or so, and then the next missions after that will land. So we're talking before the end of the decade. The target right now, I believe, is 2028 to land astronauts on the moon. It might be a year later than that. It might be 2 years later than that. But what I would say is we're going to go when we're ready, and it's soon. The work is going on right now to get everything in place.
So for someone who's got a moon mining startup, it must have been quite a glorious day to actually see the Artemis 2 make its flight, because for you, I imagine people are more likely to invest. The idea that we're actually going to get there and we're actually going to build there and you're gonna be a part of that must have been just an amazing time for you.
Yeah. So Interlune is a company I founded in 2021 with Harrison Schmitt, the Apollo 17 astronaut, and the only geologist to walk on the moon. And my co-founders and I, we've built a small company based here in Seattle, just under 30 people. We don't call it mining; we call it harvesting, because what we're
Okay.
Yeah, and look, I'm not here to correct Kari Byron.
The alliteration sounds much better when I say moon mining.
It does. The reason we use harvesting is because helium-3, which is the product that we're looking for, is created naturally in the sun, and it's been embedded in the moon's regolith, the lunar soil, for billions of years. So we're extracting that helium-3, but if you were to come back later and want to mine other resources, there's other things that you could get out of it, metals and silicon and other things. We're not taking those things out. We're just taking the helium-3. And because that sells on Earth for $20 million a kilogram,
right?
We have a shot at
$20 million.
Well, because you can't create it naturally on Earth,
I know,
because our atmosphere blocks the solar winds. So we don't have it naturally.
Yeah.
So when we're filling up balloons, why is that so cheap?
Well, so first off, helium is not really cheap relative to where it was before. It's pretty rare. There is a small, what I'm talking about is helium-3, which is an isotope of helium. It's got 2 protons and 1 neutron, and it's used for making things extremely cold, down to chilling things down to absolute zero. It's used for border security, for detecting dirty bombs at borders. So 12-year-old Rob might have had a problem. No, no nuclear stuff in my basement, but it's also in the future. It could be used for fusion energy, and so it holds a lot of promise. The problem is it's just very rare.
So earlier, Kari had said moon mining, but you said it's called moon harvesting. Could you just kind of give us a description of what that is?
Yeah, for Interlune, what we define moon harvesting as four steps. Excavation, high volume, continuous excavation of lunar soil, sorting of rocks from sand to produce a feedstock for the downstream process that's more efficient. Extraction using mechanical processes to separate the solar wind implanted gases from the regolith itself. And then cryogenic separation to separate the helium-3 from all those other gases, which include hydrogen and helium and carbon dioxide. So we focused our tech stack on those 4 steps. We're buying the rocket, we're buying the lander, we're buying the rover, and eventually we'll integrate those other technologies on the rover to move around the surface and pick up soil and process it.
So we're talking about giant excavators on the moon that are just harvesting regolith.
Mm-hmm.
And then are they extracting the helium-3 on the moon? Or are they sending this regolith back to Earth for us to extract it? Like, what does it look like?
Yeah, so the helium-3, so think of the surface of the moon as it's 3 to 10 meters of like fluffy, sandy regolith. That's dirt.
Which is like kind of sharp and different. It's not Earth dirt.
It's not like Earth soil because there's no flowing water on the moon. So the rocks haven't been weathered by water and waves. They're jagged. They've been crushed by billions of years of micrometeorite impacts that create craters that mix the surface. And so the depth of that is between 3 and 10 meters. There's rocks, but there's a lot of fine sand, and the solar wind is just bombarding that and scarring the surface of each of the individual particles of regolith. As these impacts create craters, they mix the surface. So over geologic timescales, centuries, the surface has been mixed up, and you have helium-3 distributed all the way down to the bedrock, 3 to 10 meters deep. We know from Apollo core samples that there is helium-3 down to at least 3 meters. It's distributed, though, very, very lightly. It's measured in the parts per billion. So that you have to process a lot of soil to get helium-3 out. So you'd have to bring the entire, tens of thousands of tons of regolith back to Earth to get that helium-3 out if you're going to do it on Earth. So we're going to do it on the moon. We're going to have excavators that are about the size of an electric car.
So they're small.
They're small, and we'll have a fleet of them. We're going to start with 5. And
no Tesla cars though, right?
No. We're actually going to use the lunar rover, which NASA's developing, as the platform that we're going to build on. So we've spent a couple of years working with several companies, and I'll talk about those in a second. But we're building tools that are like excavators and trenchers that can dig out the regolith, and then we put that regolith into a machine that then processes it, extracts the solar wind, and then we have to separate the helium-3 out from everything else. We would do that all on the surface of the moon. It takes power. Because of the approach we're taking, mechanically crushing the regolith versus heating it, it takes less power than what people have considered in the past, and that's going to that's what's going to allow us to do this for, at lighter weight and lighter cost than what's been looked at in the past. And right now, we're building an experiment. Some of that is behind me here. And we're building an experiment that's going to weigh about a little over 100 pounds. And we hope to launch it, land it on the moon in 2028. And we're going to have a robotic arm. And we'll process the regolith in 3 different ways. We're going to heat it, and we're going to crush it in 2 different ways. And we're going to measure the gas that comes off the regolith after we've done these processes. So if you heat it, everything comes out, all the helium-3, the helium, the hydrogen. You heat it up to about 950 degrees centigrade, and then you crush it. And the gas that comes off, we'll measure it with a device called a mass spectrometer. And that mass spectrometer will tell us how much helium-3.
We're familiar with those. We use them for seeing what kind of different agents are in farts. Yeah.
Okay.
Very highbrow stuff we tested on Mythbusters.
So I am not in the fart lab right now. We call this the regolith lab, but come visit. We can talk about that. But we'll measure the helium-3, the helium, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and all those other things. So we'll do that on the moon. This will be the first time it's ever been done on the moon. And what this mission will do, once it's complete, it's going to tell us that we can use existing data to predict the site where the helium-3 is a high concentration. And 2, that our mechanical processing approach is going to work to get the helium-3 out, and that we can then go build a business case for this fleet of robotic harvesters that I talked about.
Oh,
And-
simple stuff.
Just easy stuff.
Okay, let me get this straight. So you're picking up the regolith, you're crushing it, you're heating it, you're extracting the gases, because when you crush it and you heat it, the gases come out. You're just sticking it in bottles and sending it home.
Easy peasy. Yep.
It sounds pretty straightforward to me. Kari, you should be on the team. What are we doing here?
I should be on your communications team. I'll take equity.
So, Rob, there's a myth that the reason we didn't go back to the moon is because they discovered some kind of alien base on the far side of the moon. Can you address that issue for
And are you worried
the
they're going to
listeners?
get your excavators and
Are
start
they
using them like
they're going
Waymos?
to take your equipment?
Here we go. Well, I haven't heard that story, Tori. On the far side of the moon, the Chinese have landed there, and they do have systems that are operating. Systems that have been operating for a few years on the allegedly, reportedly. I think what are they doing? They're demonstrating that a spacecraft powered by radioisotopes can operate for a long period of time, and they're doing the kinds of things that we would do if we that we will do when the Artemis program is up and established and locked in.
Hey, Kari.
Yeah.
What are you doing for Mother's Day?
Hopefully nothing. Oh, I just want to lay around and do nothing.
You know what I got my mom for Mother's Day a few years? Actually, my wife got it for her, an Aura frame.
Aw.
She absolutely loves it because she can post new photos of our daughter, of like all her grandkids, and she's just constantly posting new photos so she can share the memories with everybody. It's awesome.
It's super cool that the gift box is included, and every frame comes in this like premium gift box, no price tag. You can preload all of your pictures before it even gets there. And then there's a personal message that you can put with it.
So it's basically the perfect gift.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it is an easy gift, and it's like bound to make them happy.
Make Mother's Day special with Aura frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. Now you can save on the gifts moms love by visiting auraframes.com.
For a limited time, listeners can get $25 off best-selling Carver mat frame with code MythFits. That's AURAFrames.com, promo code MythFits. Support the show. Mention us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
That's auraframes.com with code MythFits for $25 off the Carver mat frame.
Are we being driven by competition the way we were in the original space race? Is it because China's up there doing things that America's like, okay, you know what? Maybe we got to get up there for, like, get going. Let's go.
I think there is a little bit of a competition, but I think that, the Outer Space Treaty, which was signed, decades ago, says that space is for all of us. It's all for all humankind. That we, the signatories in the treaty, have the rights to go to space, go to the moon, the rights to operate without interference. And I think there is some concern that not all countries view space in the same way. In 2015, the U.S. signed into law the Space Resources Utilization Act, which says that any U.S. flagged company can go to space, the moon, or any other planetary body and harvest resources and own them. So the idea is that if that rock is on the moon, it's part of the moon, but if you pick it up, you own it and you can sell it. And so that's the policy and legal framework on which we built Interlune, with the understanding that we have all the rules in place to go do this, as long as we do it in a respectful way, and we under the guise of the Outer Space Treaty that, we respect that others can also operate. They just need to give us a little bit of space, and likewise, we need to give them a little space, not
Yeah, but we know
Pun
treaties
intended.
work until they don't. Everybody's got to be ready to honor those treaties. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like once we go up there and we start finding out that there's big chunks of gold on the moon and all kinds of things that we can harvest, that we can bring back and use to our advantage, I feel like a treaty we signed a long time ago might be in jeopardy.
It could be, but we won't really know unless we're there and we're demonstrating the right to operate. And I think we're going into this with a realistic view.
There's more water on the moon than we thought 20 years ago. Is that a myth or is that legit?
I think it is legit until we prove, through, operating and testing that theory that it's not. So what we did is we sent a spacecraft into the moon. It impacted the moon, and we measured the constituents in the plume that came up from that impact and confirmed that there is water ice. And then we developed analogs to use remote sensing to figure out where the water ice deposits are and how big they might be. But we won't know for sure until we go and we do, resource assessments, go send robots down into these craters and go measure it. That requires drilling in permanently shadowed regions that are extremely cold, drilling into those ice deposits and doing in situ measurements. We're close. I think we, some would say we have enough data to say, yeah, there is water, and now the question is can we access and can we get it out?
So all this is going to be done remotely or autonomously for now, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at what point do you see a need for there to be actually a crew up there of humans?
Well, I think a crew of humans, this kind of thing really needs to be done remotely, because having people in the loop just really does increase the cost. There's a lot of things that a human can...
And the probable cause for error.
Well, probably not. There's a lot of things a human can do that a robot can't in terms of perception and looking at things. So we will have humans in a remote operating center, mission control on Earth, monitoring what's going on. But we're going to depend on the robots to do the job. We might have to stop them and back them up and do some things to unjam or change the path or the course, just like we do with Mars landers today, with the exception that we're only 3 days away. So the latency, we've got, we can communicate directly with these machines rather than sending a command up and waiting minutes for a response.
Rob, can you talk to us a little bit about the vertical landing of the Blue Origin Shepherd? Because that was just such a cool innovation.
We in SpaceX were working, side by side, competing. We were building, we took different approaches. So we took the approach of building New Shepard because suborbital space tourism, the flights that Katy Tory and others took, was a market that had never been tried before. And so we decided that New Shepard is an opportunity for us to build a low-cost rocket that we could fly a lot, daily, weekly, daily, and make a little bit of money, but learn. The value is in the learning because you're routinely operating a reusable launch vehicle. SpaceX took the approach of flying the Falcon 9, throwing them away, and then adding reusability features. And so they had a customer paying for the launch, and they were experimenting with reusability alongside. Both of those paths turned out that they work. Back in November of 2015, we flew and recovered New Shepard for the first time down in West Texas. Very exciting day for all of us. The party was memorable, and then we went from there to getting into commercial operations with New Shepard, and then taking those lessons and rolling them into the new vehicle, New Glenn, which Blue is flying now, and they just flew last week.
Do you think that moon mining will be the thing that finally makes humans truly a spacefaring civilization? Do you think that's legitimate?
I do. I think that is the start. To be a spacefaring civilization, we're going to need a couple of things. One is we're going to have to start building things in space because they're going to be too big to build on Earth and launch into space. So we need to access space resources because launching all those resources from space is just going to be way too expensive. The second thing we're going to need is higher performance propulsion. And that can be either using nuclear fission, nuclear reactors, or eventually nuclear fusion, direct drive. The challenge we have now with going to Mars is that it takes 7 months one way, and the planets have to be aligned. So every 26 months, you have an opportunity to get to Mars in the most efficient way. So if we want humans on Mars routinely and a way to get home, we're going to need propulsion that can get us there in a couple of months as opposed to 7 months or a couple of weeks.
Rob, one problem at a time. We're just getting to the moon.
Yeah.
You're already trying for Mars. You are the dreamer.
Well, I think that getting to the moon and establishing operations on the moon and using resources in space is the first step, and it's a necessary first step. There's a lot of people that want to skip that step, and I think that we need to remind everyone that that these steps are useful. And if we were to try to experiment on Mars the way that NASA is intending to experiment on the moon, everything takes longer just because of the latency and the time it takes to get to Mars and the opportunities to get to Mars happening every 2 years or so. So I'm saying it, not to get ahead of myself, but to remind people why I think the moon is an important step to getting to Mars.
Aliens, UFOs. What are your thoughts on those?
I believe there are there's other intelligent life out there for sure. I don't think anyone could really keep it a secret that we've already made contact. Like if we had made contact, I don't think anyone could keep it a secret. So I don't think we've made contact yet, but I'm holding out hope, and I think we're doing all the right things with SETI and listening. I think the far side of the moon would provide a great quiet spot for a radio telescope where you could capture signals from deep space, and I think that's another reason to go to the moon. So,
Tori, maybe that's what the Chinese are doing on the far side.
That's
Maybe
what
they've
I was
already
thinking.
Contacted the aliens for you.
I think so. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe the aliens aren't there with their moon base, but maybe we'll find them from there. And I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Realistically, when do you think man could land on Mars? How far off is that?
I mean, I think there's no active program right now besides what SpaceX has been doing in the past. They're building Starship ultimately to go to Mars. And everything they're doing supports that. I believe it's important, but I also believe in the steps, not skipping the steps. And so I think going to the moon is an important first step for that.
Thank you so much for being the dreamer that is building the future for us, because I feel like 2030, that's hopefully in my lifetime, if everything goes right. I would like to see like I would love to see this fully functional because it's so exciting, and I want to be around to be able to see that.
Yeah, me too, Kari, and thank you both for having me. I think the dream is alive. It's we have a leadership principle here at Interlune about thinking big, and it's great when the alternative is thinking small. It's like there's just no room and no time for that. We want to think big, and producing cities in space using resources we've harvested from the moon is what we're all about and what we want to see in our lifetime.
And consider putting me down as a +1 for the space prom.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rob, for being the dreamer. And if people wanted to follow your journey and more, like, where do they find you? Where do they find your stories?
LinkedIn is where I post the most, and it's
So follow Interlune on LinkedIn if you want to know more information about all of the moon harvesting, not moon mining.
You're not on MySpace? Get it? Get it?
MySpace.
Nah.
Good one, Tori. Tori, I'm so glad we started this podcast. I mean, it was really scary to jump in, but making the leap was definitely worth it.
I know, Kari. I totally agree. And that's why I'm super excited that we have Shopify as a sponsor, because it helps people who are starting a business. It gives them help. It gives them a platform.
Shopify has hundreds of ready-to-use templates plus AI tools for product descriptions, page headlines, and product photography.
And they have everything in one place: inventory, payments, analytics, shipping, returns, no juggling platforms.
And they have award-winning 24/7 customer support whenever you get stuck. It's time to turn those what-ifs into cha-ching with Shopify today.
Sign up for your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/mythfits. Go to shopify.com/mythfits. That's shopify.com/mythfits. Welcome back, MythFits. Oh, wow, Kari, thanks for bringing Rob on. But boy, the stuff he's doing, it kind of makes my brain hurt to think how he's figuring out all this technology, getting it to the moon, and getting this mining or harvesting, as he put it, as a viable business. It's very intriguing.
I mean, I love so much that this podcast is just, it's like we don't have one direction we're going. It's just a curiosity podcast. So whatever you're interested or whatever I'm interested in, we get to explore it in such an interesting way. I've used that word.
There's a lot of interesting things there. You said interesting a lot.
I guess my brain is hurting at this point. It's my curiosity over
broke
this
your brain
industry
too?
broke my brain. It broke my brain. It was just too much information, but I'm so excited that he could break it down for us.
Well, it's funny that they're looking at helium-3, that's the biggest mining or harvesting that they're going for. I remember maybe like 10 or 15 years ago, there was talk about moonshots, and they were going to go up there to get gold, silver, platinum. There was all these precious metals, and that was the big push. But now it's interesting to hear that the new focus is this cooling agent for what we have now. Now we have all these computers that need to be kept cool because of all the technology that keeps coming out with AI.
The new precious resource is quantum computing, for sure.
Yeah, it's wild. It's an interesting development.
Well, to keep us on this moment of just intriguing technology, I want to play a clip for you to see how you react to it, because we're talking about quantum computing, and obviously AI is always going to bring us into that. So let's play this clip.
I sent ChatGPT an audio file of a series of fart sound effects and asked what it thinks of my music. This is what it said. I listened to your track. Here's a straight, honest reaction. First impression is a cool, lo-fi, late night, slightly eerie vibe. It feels more like an atmosphere piece than a traditional song, which actually works in your favor. It reminds me of something that would play over a quiet city montage or end credits. Okay, let's take a moment to play the audio.
Let's hear the part, because I have not heard this yet. It's not late night vibing at all. I am not relaxed.
Oh my God.
I love that
Why
they're
you
like,
just
I'm
brought this-
experimenting with ChatGPT, so I'm going to upload this music. Tell me what you think. And ChatGPT is like, yeah, it's a real cool sort of vibe.
They're so
this is how we
ChatGPT
know
is so polite.
AI is not taking over. It doesn't get the nuance.
You just took this podcast from like this highbrow, and now we just brought it back down to our usual level.
Baby, I swim on both sides of the swimming pool. I can get deep and I can
it.
get back to shallow.
That's hilarious.
I don't know what my algorithms are. It was just this one time. I think I put something in where I was talking to the stylist on this commercial, and she's like, "Oh my God, have you seen this guy who pranks people by playing fart noises and then just like records their reactions?" And so it was like, man farts at people at Walmart, and then I put my phone down and I left it running.
And that
my
was
phone
it.
just played that clip over and over and over till the algorithm's like, "Oh my God, she loves farts," and then just like,
which isn't that far from the truth, fans of MythFits.
She loves AI. She loves farts. This is gonna be clickable. All right, MythFits, instead of a fan question, we on a previous episode asked people to post their prom pictures because Tori and I were sending ours back and forth, and
it's very embarrassing. we look crazy, and I think you probably relate. And so a lot of you guys started sending in your prom pictures, and they're hilarious.
Yeah, I think we should look at a couple of them now because this is so fun. All right, here's one from Scary Princess 13. Oh, thank you. That is some glitter and glam.
Those are some party girls.
I feel like this has got to be an after prom party. They all look like they're having a good time.
Oh my gosh. Look at that hair. I love it. Oh, this is from Bones Mellow.
Oh, that one's really sweet.
What's
I
with
like
the
it. It's like
corsages?
old-timey tuxedo.
I never got the corsage on the flowers on the wrist.
Right, that's a funny tradition. The like
I know, I never got
corsage.
that. And then you're like pinning. I remember I used to you'd get stuck with the pin.
And those
on your
flowers
chest.
were super annoying on your wrist. They were just like look how big that corsage is. Like she's walking around with a bouquet on her arm. Do they still do that?
Those crappy backgrounds are the best. With that like somebody put a fern in that photo. They're like, we got to fill this space. I know, a fake fern. Great idea.
Let's make this look really, really legit. Let's get a pillar.
Like, what is that background even? It's like, it looks like paper bag.
Looks like bad wallpaper.
It looks like a crumpled up paper bag. Oh.
And it's fawn.
Gotta love it.
Who looks good backgrounded in fawn? That color just makes everybody look washed out. That's like, this is the level of photography. You know what? I hope this is a professional picture and this wasn't inside this guy's house because now I'll feel bad.
No, that's 100%. Somebody they hired. The school hired that photographer because that's their go-to. I guess that was a thing. All right, this one comes from Logan. And he's obviously getting ready to go to the prom because somebody took a picture at his house in front of his curtains.
Oh, he's got that look on his face like, Mom, okay. Why am I doing this?
I think he's like imagining he's walking the red carpet right now. That's what he looks like to me. He's
that's his pose. He's just like, red carpet
like,
ready. All right, so this came with a tag. It actually said, here is my prom photo from 1992. The mullet is more subtle in the picture than it was in real life. The DJ never played the theme song for the prom, and when yelled at by a bunch of teens, insisted we didn't have one. So he pointed at the various objects and programs that said, "Wonderful Tonight," and someone had to get a cassette of the song from their car for him to play it. The DJ had a cassette. That's great. The days before the internet were dark indeed. I bought a 750 milliliter bottle of Jack to share with everyone post-prom, but no one drank any
This
and
guy
we went
likes
to bed
to party.
kind of early. He was the funnest guy at the party, but it was high school, so we don't condone underage drinking. But he had bought a big bottle of Jack Daniels and nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it.
Wow. Yeah, I love that he said his mullet was subtle in this photo.
Subtle.
It was
more
like,
subtle
what?
than in
Dude,
real life.
It was bigger than that. Like, I would love to see it in real life. Like, it looks pretty
92,
obvious
man.
to me that it's a big mullet.
Oh, I love a good fashion mullet. All right, this one is from Christina. She's the lead singer of the Hellflowers, which is an awesome band. Sometimes you'll see me wearing their shirts. But look at her. She looks so cute. She looks like
Yeah.
like
She looks like a
Beetlejuice almost.
badass. She looks like a badass already.
Yeah, she's got like that cool kind of gothy look for high school, but it's so cute.
She's got a little bit of the Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice vibe going there.
Awesome. I love seeing people's origins. She clearly, and then she ended up a rock star, so that makes sense. Guys, thank you so much for posting your prom pictures, and feel free to keep posting these because it is so much fun to go through and see everybody when they were young and just like the awkward prom pictures are so good.
And thank you, MythFits, for coming back. We love it, and I know it's fun to catch up with Kari. Kari, what else?
The best way to support us, you guys, is to subscribe. You can subscribe to YouTube, but if you really want the ad-free extended versions, which some of the really good content is in the extended version. So go to mythfitspodcast.com, be a band of MythFits. It costs less than a candy bar, and it's brain candy. It's going to last longer, and you get to stay weird with us. So please go over there, subscribe, like, follow, do all the things so Tori and I can keep showing up every week with everything from Jackass to moon landings. We've got it. Stay weird, MythFits.
Stay weird.
Pioneer.